We'll focus in like we always do. Then we'll extend through our body. Awakening awareness. Into each other. Inside to inside. Direct. Yogis and gurus we've met know. Extend to the different traditions. And again, we'll extend to the Divine Mother in many, many forms. Lower the chant now. Leave our eyes closed for a while and just focus in. You're hearing the trauma chant to the Dark Mother. I'd like to welcome our guests again today who are here. Again today we're having, like last week and this week, these not our typical program of going through a text and experiencing a text, the Dark Mother. And as you all know, the Dark Mother is a theme or a metaphor that's found in all the different traditions, from Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism, Kali, and in Christianity, Mary, in certain expressions, like Our Lady of Guadalupe is considered a Dark Mother manifestation. Montserrat, the Dark Mother of Montserrat, there's a little statue of her over there, is a Dark Mother manifestation. And the Dark Mother manifestation is that capacity to be present to suffering and help release suffering. And Sharon gave a talk, one of the meditations on the Dark Mother, in some detail. So it's on the meditation section of the archives. Just wanted to give a little frame that this is, we're using a particular tradition, a particular field, but it's very, very universal. And today we're going to do another trauma practice, one I really love a lot, called Jetsam Trauma, a practice that opens the door of direct perception. And this was the Lama that died, or the Seldom Palden, who died at the Padmasambhava Center. He was a bearer of the Drzha Rinpoche lineage, but also he was a bearer of this lineage that this comes from, the Tassem Lingpa, who was one of those, was considered a wild, crazy yogi in the 17th century, and a great, great transmitter of light and energy. And then he went to Tibet and tried to get as many of these texts as he could. So the Vajrakalaya that they have, that's from this tradition, And this is a trauma, the dark mother from this tradition. What's really great about this particular trauma, it's about ultimately healing and the alchemical process and the sacred substances, which are not necessarily stuff. And so it has this quality. That's why we're doing it this morning, the elements, so to speak, okay? So I'm glad everybody's here, and we'll start in a few moments. Just have some other comments about this sort of thing. Excuse me. You know, these texts, if you're really simply in your mind, you have your dictionary in your hand, trying to really understand every word, the defined meaning of the word, absolutely nothing will happen for you. And if you jump out of your mind and simply jump into your body, you with me? And you're just in a body where there's no understanding, just like, you know, just the body without any understanding, without any awareness in it, nothing will happen either. And that happens to all of us. We're in the mind, we leave the mind, go into the body, take a break, but there's not necessarily awareness. So again, the theme for me of transitional space or the intermediate area, and if you can enter that place, that's where the archetypical language becomes alive. If it's in your mind, it's association, little images, and psychology. But if you can enter the transitional space, that intermediate area, that in-between place, and you start becoming aware of awareness itself. Even if you're just in mindfulness a little bit and you're aware of your mind, that's enough space for the primordial experience to arise in. If you become aware of awareness itself and then the transitional, then these metaphors can have a particular residence deep within our body. So the first thing is, don't worry about the meaning. Sort of listen, but don't really listen. Hear it, but don't hear it. Sense it, but don't sense it. Think it, but don't think it. Those type of instructions that Yen Shin would often give, that we could enter that intermediate spot. Okay? Secondly, in the Vajrayana, there are various Dakini practices, goddess practices. And so these stories, and they're like little stories, or mythic invocations that can help bring us into the experience of the Dakini, or to say it another way, the dimension of the Dakini, or to say it another way, the dimension of our own awareness. They really are using words and letters and transmission to bring us in to Namanikaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dharmakaya dimensions. That's what they're for. So the Dakini is the feminine as knowingness, gnosis, wisdom, gnosis. And these texts are not literal, and they're evocative. They're provocative and evocative in their symbolic power. To bring forth within you and me what they signify, what they symbolize. And as we all know, everything is method. Everything is, my cough is method for me, okay? For you. Everything is method. And these invocations, which are expressions of a singular field, bringing forth our experience of the innate awareness with its wonderful and magical forces. So these texts bring forth the various dimensions of our experiential awareness, which in the Vajrayana traditions and Shaivite traditions is ultimately cosmological. It kind of takes us through psychology into the cosmological dimensions of our own self, into the anima mystic dimensions, the anima psyche. So they make a difference between mind and psyche. And the psyche is essentially mystical in nature, which means it's essentially oneness. And as Jung one time said, you do not simply have a psyche, but you live in psyche. We live in psyche, and the world is psyche herself, the anima mundi. One more comment. And for our purposes, here, the unconscious is not really a seething cauldron of id instincts, so sometimes it can have that momentum, but is primordial awareness itself. The unconscious, for many of us, is primordial awareness itself, primordial consciousness, and for many it's experientially unconscious. We don't quite experience it. So the unconscious as primordial awareness is real, and this reality is manifested as in the symbolic dimension, which is Sambhogakaya, the archetypical dimension, luminous vortexes, the elements, and as the Manakaya dimension, which is the world of desire, which we've been focusing on, desire, human flesh, cars, food, buildings, everything. And the symbolic, to enter the symbolic, is a bridge that helps bring forth and open experiential awareness and its multidimensionality and its infinite horizons if we don't sit in it too linearly. So with that, we're going to focus in, and you guys can focus and extend to me, and then I will do a better job. We'll focus in, we'll focus on the various teachers. And this came through Seldom Paldum, who died recently. And we're going to lower the lights a little bit. Lorette, could you lower your light there? And Steve, could you lower that light just a little bit? It won't be so bright in here. And you can come down off the steps and get a decent place that you can really meditate. We're going to meditate for a while. And we'll lower the big light. That's great, thanks. Yeah, we could turn that one off, yes, please. All the way down. Great, fantastic. That's it, great. Thank you, guys. You want this off? No, I can't read it on. I'm sorry, you want to turn it? Thanks. Brighter, more light, more light. Great, thanks. So here we are. We'll focus in, we'll extend to each other. This is a very beautiful text. Emma Ho, in order to actualize the beloved Dakini, Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, she who brings forth the radiance of passionate joy, sublime joy, and co-emergent joy. We invoke the bodhicitta to become what we are. Omahung bodhicitta masuka yana datua. And then there's a seed syllable of this text. Zahung bam hung. Then another Tibetan statement, Hung drum, ayam kam sum kem drum. And the word drum is like a little doorway where we can feel the sphere, S-P-H-R-E, or the dome that surrounds our body, the field around our body. And having a strong one is really good, and a wimpy one not so good. But this dome, this protective field. From the letter E, a triangular source of the Dharma's phenomena, having the nature of spaciousness. Its top is wide open, and its fine tip points downward. In the center of this triangle, within the sphere, is a palace having the nature of spontaneous presence. Trotidakini. Hung Ho. The palace is complete in all its inner and outer characteristics. There is the deity seat. This is our body ultimately, right? There is the deity seat. And there is the form of the only mother, Troma, the dark mother, the feminine embodiment of intense passion. She's the darkest blue, fierce, in this magnificent luminescence. Her crown chakra is adorned with the head of a grunting pig. She has one face, two arms, and she's so fierce and so powerful. Luminous energy, luminous, shining darkness. She's a warrior and manifest an uncanny laughter, both out loud, like ha, 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 and also within you. Her two hands hold a hooked knife for cutting through delusionary experience, and a skull cup filled with blood, filled with life force, filled with the vital essence, the life essence. A trident rests in the crook of her arm, Shiva's ornament. She's in a dancing posture, one leg extended and the other bent. And she stands within this mass of raging fire. From the letters Hung, Harinisa, appears the invocation of her retinue of the Dakinis of the four dimensions. Whiteness as water, yellowness as earth, red as fire, greenness as air. They're most subtle and most intense. These are elements self-arising, manifesting the worlds. Then a Tibetan mantra, Om Vajraratna Padma Karma Buddha, Vajravahari Hung Ho. Hung Ho. From the invisible celestial land of Kachara, Matroma, the Soul Mother, the Dakini of great compassion, surrounded by the Dakinis of the four families. Kachara is a heavenly realm, Sambhogakaya dimension, Dakini realm. It also references Kachara Mudra, the inner palate that opens the door to nectarian states. And the inner palate is also called Shaivism, the womb of the Shakti. If you'd like, you can touch it with your tongue. So we invoke you. Please come to this place. Remaining in the sun, moon, and lotus seats, and empower us, your devoted sons and daughters. We embrace you with love and the devotion of oneness. Divine Dakini, in and through your creative compassion and the purest of love, transform our body, speech, and mind into Kadig, the great purity of awareness. We'll feel that for a few moments. By embracing you, we become you. You are awareness itself, stainless space, unbound, luminous darkness. O Vajravahari Trotakali, Harinisa Zaza. Namo Vajrakumari, Namo Kroti Kumari Hung. And as you know, Namo I embrace, Vajrakumari is primordial awareness, unborn, undying, that actually manifests as our own self and even as our own subjectivity, this openness in the mind-body continuum. Namo Trote Kumari Hung, the Vajra Kumari. Eternal youthfulness. From the letters, Om Ahung within my heart center, light radiates, or in our heart center, radiates and touches the outer and inner circumstances. We can feel that. From the letters, Om Ahung within our heart center, light radiates and touches the outer and inner circumstances. Of course, this is the great extension. The secret, as Dojun Rinpoche so often says. And so 16 Dakinis bring forth their own divine substance and sings their own melody and experience. The bliss of the substances that they bring forth into the world. These offerings and these manifestations are the essences of the root energies in elemental light. By combining these offerings, activities in this way, we, the practitioner, will easily receive the gifts of the supreme and ordinary cities, the Shaktis, the capacities. The Dakinis, using passionate melodies, and the natural Dakini sign language, and writing the secret language on those they love. These offerings are made to the Dakinis. Inside a skull cup is the brilliant, luminous quintessence of Amrita, bliss, innate bliss. The Rakta, the liquid, in the skull cup contains ripples and vortexes. It is completely alive. The precious sublime container holds the bodhicitta liquor, drops of the Dharmakaya, liquid, light, bodhicitta. The Amrita potion have many flavors, such as sour, bitter, sweet. These unsurpassable essential substances are offered to the Great Mother, Troma, the goddess of such fierce and intense compassion. They're offered to bring forth the white goddesses, the body's emanation of great bliss. They're offered to bring forth the red goddess, the speech emanations of sound. They're offered to bring forth the awareness field emanations of Sangwayeshe, secret, timeless awareness, wisdom. They're offered to bring forth the yellow goddess of the qualities of accomplishment. They're offered to bring forth the green goddesses who complete compassionate activities. They're offered to the oceans of emanations of the mother and sister Dakinis, oceans of radiance light. We ask you to consider us accepting these offerings with love and affection. Please bestow the ultimate realization of the unsurpassable Sangha Yeshe, timeless awareness. And the gift of enjoying the companionship of the Dakinis. And there's a little Dakini sound. Ka, ka, kahi, kahi. The offering of Amrita, the secret mantra. Hung, the unsurpassable, supreme Amrita, drops, is the substance that brings forth unbound bliss, Mahasukha. I offer this to the host of Mother and the sister Dakinis. Please accept and bestow the empowerments and the cities of this action. Omahung Sarapensar Amrita Karam Kahi. If you would like to perform the hand offerings of Amrita, make the offerings. You can raise your right hand if you wish by saying the names of the various Dakinis. Om Ahung, this is offered to the wisdom Dakini of the Dharmakaya. Om Ahung. And to the wisdom Dakini of the Sambhogakaya. Om Ahung. And to the wisdom Dakini of the Namanakaya. Om Ahung. To the only mother, the Troma, the goddess of compassion. Om Ahung. To the four classes of the secret Dakinis. Om Ahung. To the Vidyadhara Padmasambhava. Om Ahung. To the Dakini Yashitogo. Om Ahung. To Arjun Tassim Lingpa, who revealed this text. Om Ahung. To the Dakini Devadara, his companion. Om Ahung. To the Bodhisattvas. Om Ahung. To the compassionate root guru. Om Ahung. To the Termagorians, they protect these texts. Om Ahung. And to the ocean of beings, all beings who are all worthy of offerings. That's everyone, everything. Om Ahung. Then the text says, sense the Amrita descending and arising within the inner heart essence. Sense the Amrita arising and descending within the inner heart essence. The great expanse. Om Ahung, please bestow upon us at this very moment the cities of enlightened body, speech, and mind. Om Kaya Siddhi, Vakta Siddhi, Hista Siddhi, Abhisheka Hum. Abhisheka Hum means invoke the feeling of like a bath of the drops and the lights. The praise of the experience. Hung Ho, from the sublime celestial land of Orgmin, the mother comes through the power of compassion. Dark trauma, you're luminous and magnificent, wearing the charnel ground ornaments and burial ground. You raise fire in your hand, dissolving the demonic. We embrace you. Hong Hu, O white dakinis, whose light rays pacify. Om Hung, yellow dakinis, whose laughter enriches. Om Hung, red dakinis, whose passion and radiance magnetize, brings forth the light. The green dakinis, who release the demonic. Dakinis, who blaze wondrously, whose dances change dramatically, and so loving, and whose laughter enriches. We'll extend to each other again right now. And we extend to everyone we know and love. Om Vajra Purasaya Ho. Om Vajravahare Trotikale Harinisa Aveshaswaram Hung Pet. That's the mantra of this text. Om Vajravahare Trotikale Harinisa Aveshaswara Hung Pet. Hung Ka, you're the dark blue Kali, unchanging and magnificent. Ka, you're the goddess Kamushe, another emanation. Ga, how could there be so many distinct emanations? Cha, you're surrounded by a host of Dharma Dakinis, whooping and clamoring. Cha, the fierce goddess, emanates in so many infinite forms. Ja, with the first portion of the potent. Na, the whole area is filled with the light, the soft light of the moon. You emanate like the powerful moving planet Venus. Just a step. Usually, so often in these texts, if it's sometimes Jupiter, the guru planet, or Saturn, but this is a Venusian text, Venus as guru. In this way, please establish all the mother sentient beings on the path of enlightenment. You destroy crude behavior like black magic and curses. Please bestow the supreme empowerment of the final stage. Release us into the open spaciousness of the all-good Mother, Samata Bhadri. Vajrasamaya Tista Hung Soha. Vajrasamaya Tista Hung Soha. Hung, from the unborn, completely pure Dharmadhatu, miraculous forms arise and manifest in every possible way. Om Wisdom Dakini, protector of all these beings. Vajravahare, stainless space illuminator, primordial guru. We embrace you as our very self, having never been separated and never, ever apart. Chema, because of not recognizing the thought-free, self-arising awareness as the Dharmakaya. O Mother, due to the thoughts, I've become fixated on myself. I am freed by embracing the Mother, the Dharmakaya, as my own self. Chema means alas. Chema. Because of not recognizing that all desires are self-originating and self-arising, and that thoughts, desires are self-liberated as they arise. My experience is murky and bewildered. I embrace the Mother, Sambhogakaya, as my own awareness. Chema. Because of not recognizing the change of thoughts and movements of my mind are self-liberated in all their variety. I keep getting lost in thoughts, lost in the thought, fixated in the thought. I embrace the Mother, the Nirmanakaya. Chema, alas, because of not recognizing that effortless, spontaneous, perfect consciousness is beyond all exertion and striving. I suffer unnecessarily, trying to attain what is already given. Because I lack realization of simply what is, I've been caught up in the decision of yes and no, no and yes, yes, no, no, yes. Because of not recognizing Chema, samsara, and nirvana, or in oneness, I create a split between myself and others and the very beingness of my own being. We embrace the Mother, the wisdom Dakini, because of not recognizing that freedom from grasping at reference points and attributes is beyond the path. But it's saying here in its own way is not grasping at reference points and attributes is the path. I seemingly progress in a fabricated way, which is no way at all. Chema. Because of not recognizing that whatever happens is beyond rising, arising, and ceasing, I've been striving in practice, accepting and rejecting. Chema, I did not realize that the Mother is groundless, rootless, and boundless. I embrace the Mother who is beyond hope and beyond despair. Chema, not recognizing that birth and death are beyond all fear. Realization alone is what brings true confidence. Then this statement, nature itself is what benefits beings. Nature itself is what benefits beings. All apparent existence, whatever appears, is the realm of the Dakinis. Movements of mind, memory, and awareness. All movements of mind, all movements of memory, all movements of awareness are the state of primordial purity. The form of the trauma, the Dark Mother, is the powerful play of compassion, the play of consciousness. The Mother is great bliss, the Mahasukha, free from activity, free from striving. All sentient beings have the Dharmakaya nature. How can we awaken without practicing meditation? How can we awaken without actually practicing meditation? By the power of the truth, may we realize the ultimate meaning. May everyone attain the state of the Mother. You are the natural state of the great perfection, the great completion, just as it is, as you are. Pet, pet, ah, the unborn, ah. So we'll meditate for a while, we'll just rest in that stream. As we all know, when someone dies, the Dharmakaya space opens, huh? And especially and clearly, more clearly even with a great yogi dying, the Dharmakaya is open in a more easy, assimilatable way for quite a period of time. So for a moment, we're going to focus on the yogi, Seldom Palden, who brought that text and who died in July. Just, if you'd like, you can lean in that direction. But this is ultimately from him. And the ultimate result of this is the dissolving of annihilation anxiety. So death is actually a part of this. Then we'll lean into the yogi Kunsing Dechen Limpa, who also has given us his trauma here, the Dark Mother, and actually visited it here. So we'll lean into him. since timeless awareness is beyond time and space, and yet in time and space, any moment is entry. And then we'll lean into Swami Muktananda, who helped invoke the mother as the Shakti. Then we'll focus on the Dark Mother as Mary. And then we can lean to the Dark Mother in whatever traditions you know, that you have some affinity for. And that's where ending up our working with the text. We'll release that. We'll focus on the Vajrakumari as the deathless state, as deathlessness itself. Unborn, undying, yet manifesting around us and in us as our very self, our very awareness. very subjectivity. Aham. We're in a perfect situation to do this. So let's focus on the drops within the heart. Release them. And we can release them here and elsewhere. And let's focus a little while on the palate. You can feel the column going through your body, up. You might open your mouth a little bit. And super gently we'll focus behind our eyes a bit. And then we'll end with the Dakini mantra. We can place Ma at the top of the head, like space, Ma. Ha, forehead. Re, throat. Ni, center of heart. Sa, navel. Ma, ha, rene, sa. Feel your wrists. Feel your wrists. Ma, ha, Then for a little while we'll extend the field to like the people right now in Japan who are undergoing such horrible difficulties. We'll do that for a little while. From the place of timeless awareness. Remaining in the awareness, we're going to move a little bit, and we're going to form a geometry now. And so we'll have 3 people here. Maybe Jan, you could come over here, and then 3 people here, and then 3 people there. You can sit right here, and then 3 people. We're going to do like a square today, okay? Come this way, and then Helen, you can be here. Then someone can come right here. Steve, you want to come right here? Okay, great. You feel healthy? Okay, great. Then you come right there too. Okay, okay. And then 3 people here. Marla and great. Okay, great. Get 3 people. Great. So why don't we have about 3 people coming in the middle then today? Okay, and we'll put the trauma tape back on again. The trauma nagmo. We have 3 across. That's great. And then your front will be this way. Face this way. And we can touch people today with everybody's permission. And we'll put the the CD back on with the Trauma Nagmo. And let's just extend to the people in the middle. The first prayer will be the Trauma Nagmo. We'll leave that part off for a little bit. There's a little chat. Let me extend to everybody. And sometimes it's really great to extend to the person on the other side of you in a state of oneness and union. And then the person in the middle will have that vortex. Right? Anytime like that.
Hare Kroe Jawarae Nimboe Nyumne gyurme Yeah. 佛真的得人，
皆能够难得松的
的没动真心，
我天真的罗南在我，上军都是龙牛，一段人也是马呢，千军牛马着走，白马年的王人。下面将quân把就知了这把这茶叶的不了人是把这那么的你来人也就你知道你这么就这个人别俺都这么咱们上面中结论这么给我佛真佛真
佛真一来让中。佛真在什么一处来正三来我写着等着我写的那就在没做买些都你在的兄弟不让我让些下的不让人的马路佛真且能内觉
Oh
Thank you all, everybody.
Phật nghe rồi
lê ru bê la lê đê bê bồ đô quân đài sê mê tôi bồ đề la mê sê la nhô
Another person.
Phật kê mình chế 퍼드 감숨 세베 제나마
boy
Phodre chunye lani
Cho jin she Suku jime she Tere lone kama Wai ma je jime
Phodre
Yang dai chini nung ba lai Wo jang wo je wo yo Ta de mi mi long do Wo sang je du dang do Rang je wen do be do Cho rang je wen do be do
John out there?
Phodre re dong Chue goe che so ne Da she la na pa so so ne Che ngi je be na ba de Da she go no da she shu
Thank you.
나 뒤듯이 그래.
Thank you, guys. Anybody who wanted to be in the middle has not been in the middle? So we'll just sit quietly for a few minutes. About 5 minutes. I'll just pass the mic around. If you'd like to articulate your experience for just briefly, that'd be great. But it's just what's taking place here and now. Great. Let everybody hear. And I'll just pass this around. You don't have to share if you don't want to. In the meditations, I'm finding myself kind of coming from a different place. It's like in the past, I've worked to establish the column of light in my body, connecting down to
heart, connecting up. And it feels like that's really shifted for me, that I now am the column of light. It's like I've moved my experience a step back into myself more and connected more. And so it feels like the breath comes from a different place. My experience comes from a different place. And that it feels really good. The other thing I was experiencing today as we're working together, it's like that image from Avatar came, where they would reach their ponytails out, and those little the connecting, like we're connecting that way with each other's energies and into the crystal tree and into the earth and to each other, and connecting this network of light that is phenomenal. Anyway.
Piggyback on what Carol was saying, what I'm experiencing is, in addition to the column, I'm experiencing radiance and radiating out, like being radiant starburst. And when you were talking in the beginning of the invocation about a wimpy field and a strong field, I'm beginning to get a sense of what that is. Not because so much of my attention has been on that column, and it's like a new dimension to have dimensionality of the field, and at the same time the column. And it also, the experience is very much of letting go of concepts especially, and opening to identifying with the energy. I mean, I love this whole piece we're doing now on the Dakini, and identifying with that, becoming that. So.
It's in the beginning of the reading. I became the Tromonogma surrounded by fire. Then it all shifted to my heart, surrounded by fire. Then there was this experience of being the heart drop of the Tromonogma. That's me. And then from the heart drops comes the Harani Sa, which then create the heart drops. It's beautiful being in that constant creation. And in the middle, I think my hand was like this, but it was like heart drops as heavy as, what are those things called, those round metal things? Ball bearings. And then filling me up. So, fantastic day.
I've been experiencing the Vajra deathless state today, and it kind of came when I was away last week. I had a dream where I had this horrible demon coming after me, a really ugly guy, and you were there with me, and I was going to beat him up, and you said, "No, don't, just act tough." And so I did. I just held that sense of strength, and actually for about a day I was wrestling with this guy. But it was the Vajra state. It was the deathless state. It was the state where I wasn't going to be annihilated. And it just really, it was hard to hold it for a while. But then it just kind of became natural, and this tough little guy just kind of, just lost his potency. But I couldn't beat him up. I wanted to.
I just found today that I just totally was. Yeah, I'm here. It was like my head, my mind just disappeared, and I was just totally in the body. And it was just all light. Everybody was just light streaming out, and like Skip said, there's all these blue drops around, and it was just heavenly.
I did a quick little meditation early this morning, and in that meditation I heard, just lean into me, lean into me. And so that was rolling around in my mind as I drove down here, and then of course I was really, really allowing myself to lean into everything that was happening today. And the streaming, when you first began the reading, the streaming was very interesting. It was as if this streaming of dark light, dark blue light, and it was a real streaming. It was just wonderful, just really wonderful. But that sense of leaning in to these energies is kind of a new theme for me. And I want to keep that in the forefront of my being, because what I realize is, as you know, the difficult things happen in the world, you know, within myself, within family, within friends, within life, that allowing that leaning into those very powerful, very loving, very creative energies, things evolve and change in a much more gentle way sometimes. Not always gentle, but leaning into that allows so much more space for things to occur.
Should we relay it over there?
Just to say the dark side, the other side, the dark side of the moon was just filled with black, golden light everywhere. Thank you.
The ease today of just letting my energy go wherever it went, and letting the light go wherever it went, and let whatever came in come in. Yeah, it's heavenly.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank everybody. If you want, I'm going to put a piece of paper up there, a fine one, and you sign your name. I'll get you a copy of this one. But the deal is, have to make a deal, right? The deal, if you take this one, you have to do it for a month. You with me? And that's kind of a typical deal they make. That's, you know, well, one more tax. So if you want this, and you can have it, but you want to have a samaya behind it, because actually it's the samaya that really brings everything up, right? So if you want it, we'll sign a piece of paper, and then I'll get you some copies, okay? We're not going to do it by internet. I'll just make some copies and give it to you. It's really quite great text. Yes, please. There's another Lama coming in, but it's a little bit of a strange situation. To go to that thing, you have to have that chakra samvara empowerment. And or they say if you've had another empowerment, okay. So that's a door. I don't know exactly what it means, but I'll write and ask Sephora what it means, okay? Great. You know, sometimes they're little guard dogs and things like that. It's going to leap over them. Thank you, guys. No, I won't charge for this one. No. Thank you, guys. See you all next Wednesday. And there's one other announcement. Yeah, Lama Garshan's coming. He really is a great, great yogi. I think it's I forget the date. In April, beginning of May. Also, next week is the Networker Conference, which is always a great conference. 4,000 therapists come right down the street, which, you know, you don't have to travel much. But it's a great conference. Great.
And if you want to travel, you can come down to Southern Maryland on the 9th of April for an open house, and a 10th for Patricia's coming down and doing a sound healing workshop at at the Joy Lane Healing Center. So.
You guys, take it easy. I'd like to thank our guests for coming. Thank Helen for coming, and John, and Julie. Thank you, guys.